And welcome everyone to Cleveland, where the avalanche of wins is piling up at a historic rate. Folks, it's transformed Cleveland into Believeland. Today facing an old nemesis who stretched them to 7 games in the playoffs last year. Folks, Donovan Mitchell has been one of the most imperious, one of the most dictatorial, dominating scorers in the entire league this season. On the other side of the equation today, Paolo Banchero, the precocious and productive talent from Orlando, is regaining the form that saw him play as an all-star a season ago. Let's take some inventory in the Eastern Conference. Ironically, Cleveland is 1, Orlando is 8. Should they meet in the playoffs again? Well, it would be part 2. That would be the matchup if it began today. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones, courtside, along with Tim Legler. George Sedano joining us in just a moment. Tim, Cleveland in the midst of a historic 16-game winning streak. Donovan Mitchell has been front and center in it all, and he's figuring it out that sometimes it's easier to lead from behind than it is out in front.
He's a perennial all-star. He's as good as he's been since the day he walked into this league. You take a look at the numbers and the production, but by design, you see the minutes slightly decreased, the usage rate slightly decreased, and there's a reason. They wanted to open up more empowerment for these 3 guys, the supporting cast, and it's almost not fair to call them a supporting cast. 2 all-stars in the group. Jarrett Allen had a claim to be an all-star as well. You see these 3 guys having career years in large part to the leadership of Donovan Mitchell.
Certainly has. His voice has been heard all throughout the locker room. When you look at their winning streak, it's really impressive, and George, the roster is equally as impressive.
No question, Jonesy. It's the longest in franchise history, that winning streak. Let's take a look at their plus-minus leaders during the streak. No surprise with Evan Mobley, who's out today with a right foot contusion. But look at these other names, all guys off the bench. And when I spoke to Kenny Atkinson, their head coach, he talked about those guys with me. DeAndre Hunter, they knew what they were getting with him. One of the best defensive players in the sport, one of the best defenders since the trade deadline. What surprised them was his ability to play make off the bounce. With Sam Merrill, just the havoc he wreaks coming off of pin downs and screens with his shooting. And the guy that he made us chuckle about was Ty Jerome. He talked about his irrational confidence and said he didn't know if it was sustainable. Well, it's certainly sustainable when you've been averaging 15 points a game for 3 months, Jonesy.
Yeah, he's been one of the great stories for Cleveland this year. And by the way, Evan Mobley not available today because of a foot injury for the Cavaliers. Meanwhile, the Orlando Magic, they come in here off of a loss a couple of nights ago. But one of the positive signs in an otherwise injury-ravaged season is that Paolo Banchero is starting to play like the all-star that he was a couple seasons ago, as we take a look at who's in the zone, brought to you by AutoZone.
Yeah, look, Mark, I'm not going to say their season was completely derailed by injuries, but it certainly was stalled. Large chunks of time missed by each of their top 3 guys, but you see now, Paolo Banchero rounding into the form he showed you a year ago, putting up massive numbers as one of the toughest covers at the forward position in this league. The combination of power and shooting ability means Paolo Banchero is here to do business.
Well, Banchero told me a little bit earlier he remembers that odious, terrible feeling last year of losing in Game 7 to Garland, Mitchell, and the rest of the Cavaliers. He used that as fuel for his off-season training, and it's got them moving somewhat in the right direction right now. We'll be back with the opening tip-off, Cavs and the Magic, in just a moment.
NBA Sunday Showcase on ABC is presented by Popeyes, bringing the crunch to every game with their bold flavored wings. And in part by Intuit Credit Karma, karma you can count on. This presentation of NBA Sunday Showcase presented by Popeyes will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Dream season continues for the Cavaliers, the best team in the NBA.
How did you guys get here?
I don't know. Curry going down. Slash machines, ding, 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 when they ring over.
This is just to be expected.
Another convincing performance.
For the goals we have, this is the bare minimum.
Mitchell for the win.
Yeah, I heard. I bust and that's my word.
Here we go. And this amazing season rolls on.
I think we're still hungry. We still have the edge. We know what's coming. We got to keep improving and keep our playoff focus.
Welcome to NBA Sunday Showcase on ABC, presented by Popeyes. And our game between the Orlando Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers. The team with the best record in the NBA riding a 16-game winning streak, taking on the team that they faced a season ago in the first round of the playoffs. Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic. As we take a look at the starting lineups, Orlando has had 24 different starting lineups this season. That's right, 24. Corey Joseph, the 14-year vet, getting the start at point. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Wagner, Banchero, and Wendell Carter Jr. on the front line for the visiting Magic. They're 2-2 on this current 5-game road trip. Meanwhile, for the home crew, the Cleveland Cavaliers going to be without Evan Mobley today because of a foot injury. That puts Allen, Hunter, and Max Strus on the front line, with Mitchell and Garland in the backcourt. Donovan Mitchell, the team's leading scorer, returning after missing the previous game in Memphis a couple of nights ago. And what a season it's been for their leader, Donovan Mitchell. We talked about it in the open. He is really growing into a cemented, solid leadership role that's bearing a ton of fruit for the Cleveland Cavaliers this season. One of the challenges for the Cavaliers, Tim, going in, you would think, is this long and imposing front line that Orlando has.
Yeah, they can bring it at you at the forward position. A lot of length out there, a lot of versatility out there. The biggest challenge for Orlando today, guarding Cleveland. It's that simple. Protecting the paint and getting out to those shooters. That's the number one challenge facing the Magic.
Another sellout crowd here at Rocket Arena. There's a look at some of the cogent numbers. Interesting matchup. The highest scoring team in the NBA, the Cavs, against the team that is the stingiest defensively. Cavaliers will bring it across to open up this ball game.